So our friend Will Powers went on the Dropped Frames podcast, the podcast run by It's me, JP, Ezekiel 3, and they talked about Crimson Desert. Now, he was on there for a solid 2 hours talking about stuff. So obviously we can't go through all of the tidbits. Will has previously joined us for the discussions on Crimson Desert and everything, and it's been very, very fascinating. But the hype level has continued to build and build and build and build and build. It's a little crazy. I just want to show you something that was brought to my attention. Okay, just want to show you this. Okay, look at this. If you feel like people are starting to talk about Crimson Desert a lot, it's because they are. If you go to Google Trends, this is just in the US, okay? It is considered a breakout search term across the board for Google. You see this, some of these, I think this is like the state of play. This was back during the summer showcase, so like Summer Games Fest. This is the state of play, that little bump. We did the New Game Plus showcase the first week of January. That's where you see this start to rise. And then it's just skyrocketed from there. So there's a reason why you're hearing about it a lot. It's because the hype level is getting a little crazy and people are talking about it a ton. In fact, one of my brothers who works as an accountant is not watching game streaming every day, like not that entrenched in it. He even mentioned on a call with me the other day, he's like, have you heard of this game Crimson Desert? I was like, have I? Oh boy, you don't know who you're talking to. I've heard of it a lot, muchly, dare I say. And yeah, it's because it's starting to pierce that mainstream veil, okay? If the game's good, yeah, now the normies know. If the game is good, it could explode for real. But what am I talking about? Well, on this podcast that he went on, Will talked about a ton of stuff, but one thing with Will is that he usually has one nugget that goes and makes the rounds through like articles and stuff, each appearance that he does. So when I did the interview with him for New Game Plus, he mentioned that, for example, the map was bigger than the map of Red Dead Redemption 2. And that hits the presses and everybody starts talking about it as it breaks into the mainstream. And with this, there was one story that broke out as a result of it. But I do want to offer a little tidbit, okay? Just a little something. What is this? Well, the title of the article, Crimson Desert devs say premium price avoids microtransactions. The specific statement from Will, I'll just pull up and I'll let it play, okay? Okay, let's pull this up. I'm going to pull up the transcript, and it's specifically cosmetic shop. Here's the question and the answer. We'll just let it play out. We'll let him answer in his own words, okay?
What are you guys doing with this game? Are we going to see like a cash shop in here and stuff? Like how is that going to work with this?
No, this is so yeah. Thank you for asking that. This is a premium game. You buy one time, and I don't want to say that there's zero MTX because there are pre-order bonuses that we have, but anything that's announced and coming at launch is strictly cosmetic. Like there's like those are just the pre-order bonuses. This is not
so not like a cosmetic cash shop on release kind of thing.
No, like I can say that definitively. There is not a cosmetic cash shop. This is made to be a premium experience that you buy and you enjoy the world, and not something for microtransactions.
Awesome.
It's a monetization model. Like if you do free to play, then you need to make up the revenue in a different way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is a premium experience. That is the transaction. Like full stop.
Fantastic. That's
awesome.
Excellent. On that note, one of the cornerstones of this project is kind of the large.
So that started making the rounds. Okay, that started making the rounds. Now there is an asterisk next to this, which is that at launch. Okay, so there is no microtransaction shop at launch. They have no expectations of having an in-game cash shop at launch. That's not what they're doing, okay? But there is a door open for potentially shifting and adjusting if they need to. And I just want to be clear about this so that people don't get the wrong idea or misinterpret things and then get upset later because, they got something confused, at the end of the day. Let me check Will's replies. Yeah, so look at this. So it was said in an interview with Will Powers by Drop Frames that they will definitively not have a microtransaction shop. The earnings call was a mistranslation. Will clarifies, I said at launch, which is an important clarification. Okay, so he is clarifying the game will not have a microtransaction shop at launch. Now, why do I think that distinction is being made? Okay, big brain. I think they have a few more tricks up their sleeves. What am I talking about? I'm talking about an earnings call that is in Korean. I don't speak Korean.
Particular, Black Desert Online showcase new region.
But I found an English version of it. And in this English version, you can listen to the whole thing. It's not like, this is all public. To be very clear, I don't want you to think that like I'm hacking into the mainframe. This is all public that they share with investors, okay? This is all public. And there's a lot of interesting little tidbits in here about the financials of the company, what they expect to do, how many employees they have. There's a lot of very interesting things in here. For example, this one, the highlight right now, Black Desert Online, PC 10th anniversary, content overhaul. They go through some of that stuff. EVE Online details, growth strategy, existing IP expansion, EVE Frontier, new IP, Crimson Desert, marketing gone gold, collaborations, preview events, launch March 19th, Doki V, which comes at some point. And they share some other details like financials and stuff like that. But with this, there's a couple of little tidbits. Back in Q3 of 2024, CEO Hyo Jin-young, I think, said at the 2024 Q3 earnings call, he conveyed optimism about the game's potential, highlighting projections, this is for Crimson Desert, that significantly surpass market expectations. Crimson Desert will launch as a single-player experience with a focus on maximizing sales from the outset. Pearl Abyss plans to roll out multiplayer capabilities and downloadable content in subsequent updates, broadening the game's reach and attractiveness. Oh. So what am I talking about here? What's this describing? That's from the Q3 2024 earnings call. What was also discussed in the Q4 2025 earnings call is something similar. That's what this one is, okay? What is this? Earlier today, Pearl Abyss published its Q4 2025 earnings report, and in the subsequent earnings call, the South Korean company revealed interesting tidbits about what it will focus on after the imminent launch of Crimson Desert. The executives revealed that, depending on market demand, that is to say, how well it sells, Pearl Abyss already has plans to potentially add downloadable content and even multiplayer, reaffirming the same idea that if it does well, that they will do that. That's what they're hoping for, is that it sells well and they will do that. Now that they believe it should take about 2 years after the debut of Crimson Desert to launch Doki V, which is the other thing, considering the launch preparation experience of Crimson Desert, taking into account that at least 1 year or so of preparation launching was needed even after game completion. It seems about 2 years of time will be needed after the launch for Doki V and some of the other stuff they're doing. So even in this earnings call that just happened, they're describing the possibility of a multiplayer mode. The rumor has it that the multiplayer mode would play similarly to GTA Online, where it would not be your same save file as the single player campaign. So it's not like you just load in and do co-op missions through the story. But the idea allegedly is that it would be additive, it would be a free update, and it would be something that just would allow you to play through the content that they have here from the outset in a separate entity with your friends. That's the idea, at least, if it sells well. And I think that's why there's a caveat on this statement that Will is saying at launch, because there's the possibility that after launch, they go and add a multiplayer mode, and then there's an in-game store for cosmetics and stuff within the multiplayer mode. So he doesn't want to get caught with his pants down being like, oh, I said never, and it could possibly end up there. That's what I think is going on. Some people are taking that walk back and being like, oh, so they're going to actually, a day after launch, flood it with microtransactions. I don't think that's what's being discussed. I think when you look at the broader context, when you listen to the earnings calls, when you talk about all this stuff and you break it down, what they expect it to do in terms of revenue, it seems to me that they are keeping the door open in case the game sells really well and they can bring a free multiplayer mode to then monetize through like cosmetics and stuff. Maybe even the free to play, or maybe even the multiplayer mode is free to play, but the campaign you have to buy. Maybe that's how they do it, where the campaign is a premium product and then the multiplayer is basically like a free to play MMO. Maybe that's how they do it. I'm not sure. But I think that's why they're keeping the door open. Okay. Now, when we asked Will when he was on the podcast, when he was on the stream, we asked him, is there multiplayer? He said no. I think if he could, he would have added a caveat at launch. But we'll see. I know Will's going to watch this, so I'm excited to see what he says. Maybe there's an update. Maybe he's going to come out and be like, yeah, the earnings call is wrong or the translations are wrong. We're not doing that. Maybe that's what he's going to say, or maybe it's just going to be, I don't know. But I think that that's what's happening is if the game sells really well, they'll bring a free to play or a free update with multiplayer. Maybe it'll be a premium update for multiplayer. I don't know. But I think that that's what they have in their back pocket. This is running on an engine that was originally built for MMOs. So I don't think it's a networking issue to get it working. The game was originally built for multiple players. When it was announced in 2019, it was an MMO. So I don't think it's that far of a stretch to think that they would just add a multiplayer mode. Like, I don't think that's a big deal, especially if it's got millions and millions and millions of players and people really love the gameplay and they're like, okay, play it with your friends. You know, why not? And I think that that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm mainly right now looking at the day one version. That's the premium experience, which is what I'm excited for. If I get an awesome premium day one single player experience and that's great, and then you add on a free multiplayer mode, cool. But we'll see. But that's what I think is going on. I just want to be clear about that because I've seen some people freaking out over these like small adjustments and caveats, and I don't think that that's what it is.
No.
Yeah, I think we all feel that way right now. I want it now. But we'll see. What happens with it. I cannot wait to find out more. And I think at this point, everybody's just like thoroughly intrigued. We just want to know. And I'm here for it. Okay, guys, is this a Skyrim killer? I don't think it's a Skyrim killer. I think what this is, I did see one person's post. They said, Bethesda's sweating right now, or Elder Scrolls 6 devs sweating right now. I do think that this is the scope and scale, like what you've heard and think about with Crimson Desert, I think is what people are hoping for when it comes to like Elder Scrolls 6. And I don't think there's any way on God's green earth they will be able to deliver anything close to that. Maybe that's me being a negative Nancy. Maybe that's me being a bummer. But I think this scope and scale and the dynamics and everything, that's kind of what people are hoping for. Give me mod support and the studio will burn. Yeah, the mods will certainly help it. But I just think that you know, it's going to be tough. By the time we see Elder Scrolls 6, it's going to be tough for them to compete with some of the other stuff that happened, you know. He took my thing.